Jungkook, there should be no problem with that. By tomorrow, you'll receive the updated contract with the listed requirements, he said to the people in front of him, dressed sharply in their three-piece attire. Jungkook sat there holding the elegance and professionalism of 15 years riding his shoulders. He managed to get the deal from the VIPs, see them off, and then relax himself. It was Sunday, yet he had to arrange a special meeting in his own penthouse. The sunset outside covered the sky with purple and orange hues. The tall glass walls of the penthouse displayed the beautiful views as Jungkook stepped inside to go find his wife. I started with a suitcase, not even a big one, just a medium sized straw bag that wine zipped up. And as soon as the sound reached him, his heart skipped. Jungkook, wait, you're packing? Vine looked up smiling as she folded her dress into her bag. Vine, yeah, the company retreat is tomorrow, remember? Just 2 days, babe. Jungkook, 2 days. His tone was light, but his stomach twisted like it always did when she said the word goodbye or trip or I'll be back soon. To anyone else, Jungkook was the picture of composure. He was strong, calm, well spoken, tattoos wrapped around his arm like whispered secrets, and his voice was the kind of warmth that lingered. He laughed easily, joked more than he should, and took care of people with a gentleness that surprised even himself sometimes. But when Vine left even for a little, well, something inside him unraveled. Not in a loud way, not in a broken, dramatic way, just quiet, nervous, tender, like he was suddenly 5 years old again, watching someone he loved walk away and praying with his tiny heart they'd remember to come back. That night, as Wine curled beside him in bed, Jungkook lay still, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. Jungkook, you're not gonna sleep, are you? She asked gently. Jungkook, probably not. She turned her body to face him, brushing a thumb over his chest. Wine, Cook, it's literally 2 days. Jungkook, I know, but I still hate it, he whispered. She didn't roll her eyes, didn't tease. She knew this about him, knew how his mind worked in spirals when it came to people he loved. He cared too hard, too deeply, and his mind always painted a million what ifs the moment she stepped away. Jungkook, what if something happens and I'm not there? What if you miss me and pretend you don't? And what if I forget what your love sounds like in 2 days? Wine laughed softly. You FaceTime me 3 times a day when I go grocery shopping. Jungkook, you're gonna hear my laugh plenty. Hijin smiled, not yet. He reached for her hand under the blanket and interlaced their fingers. Jungkook, it's not that I don't trust you'll come back. I know you will. It's just, when you're not here, everything feels quite in the wrong way, like the air is missing something. Wine, probably my fault. Wine didn't laugh at first, but she did when he made a face close to a terrified one. But then her expression turned soft as she kissed the back of his hand. Wine, you know people usually romanticize love like that, but when it's real, it's heavy sometimes, isn't it? He nodded. Fine, I love you, Jungkook, and I always return to you. He smiled and pulled her into his chest. Regardless of his separation anxiety, he knew she needed her sleep to be fresh next day. And although he wished he could cancel, he still needed her in best shape. The next morning, she left with a cheerful goodbye, a warm kiss, and a promise to text him every hour. And she did. And Jungkook still worried. He went to office, finished his work, did extra instead. He kept busy, cleaned the kitchen 3 times, organized the bookshelf, watered her plants twice, and said, "They look thirsty, I swear," in his defense on a text message. By the evening, when they called and she told him everything about her day, including the welcome dinner and the awkward games, he listened quietly, laughed along her, and added his remarks. Jungkook, and what? He offered tequila and you drank it. Wine, it would be rude not to. She tilted her head, her eyes filled with love as she looked at him, trying to hide the despair, but his pout and red face gave it away. Wine, when I come back, you can serve me twice. Jungkook, thrice. She chuckled and raised her hands in surrender, but when she yawned, his anxiety started to crawl back in yet. As long as she was in front of him, he was at peace. Jungkook, you should sleep, but keep the camera out. Wine adjusted the camera and laid down. It was not the first time they were doing it. Wine, good night, darling. I only love you. The more Wine knew about his anxiety, the more she tried to be gentle about it with him. The way he treats her with such love, he wished he could put the whole world beneath his feet. She slept comfortably, and Jungkook watched with warmth and peace settling in his heart. By the time she returned home 2 days later, suitcase rolling in, and Jungkook was at the door in under 5 minutes. The door opened and the first thing Vine saw, as always, was him, standing there to welcome her. She was too used to it by this point that if one day, even by an accident, he isn't there to receive her, she might get an anxiety herself. She waved, watched her handsome man, standing there leaning against the wall with crossed arms over his buff chest, white button up shirt, and his face glowing against the sunset hues reflecting through the windows. There was peace in his eyes, which she loved. Jungkook, her love, I'm not letting you go anywhere again. He said like he does always before he took her in his arms. Nothing too dramatic, just pulling his whole body in his arms like they were always meant to hold and hide her in them. Vaughn, I missed you and your ridiculously handsome face. He chuckled and made a smug face. Jungkook, that's something I gotta brag about. She pecked his lips while he played with her hair. Vaughn, I brought you something. Jungkook, of course you did. I wasn't going to let you in without it. Vaughn, you. And wouldn't let me in. Do you think you can survive that? Jungkook's expressions paled, even as the joke he didn't like a distance between them, so he picked her up and took her inside before she changed her mind. As he took a seat on the couch and placed wine on his lap, she took out a small box from her pocket. After opening it, it revealed a silver bracelet, which she hooked around his wrist. Wine, okay. It was supposed to be something cute, so if next time I'll leave for a day or two, you keep this with you. But now that I look at it, it looks sexy on you. Jungkook, you think so? She nodded and then Jungkook wrapped his fingers around her neck, holding her in a choking manner. Those soft, vulnerable expressions long gone now that her anxiety was over and she was finally back. Jungkook, I think it looks better now. He whispered in her ear, kissed her jaw, then her cheek, and then her lips. Wine smiled in between as she wrapped her arms around his neck and replied with the same honesty and love.